was Gundogan, and I know he gets a lot of hassle from fans and some of it from us as well. But as we talked about the other week with Gundogan, we all feel that he's pretty much being given a specific role when he plays by Pep. You know, when he's playing more defensively and partnering with Rodri. What we saw from Gundogan the other night was that he'd obviously been told to get forward, be more of an attacking midfielder, and let Rodri do all the dirty work. And it worked. That was our game, and that's how we should have played against Lyon last season in the quarterfinal. And when we play our more natural game, don't worry about defending. You know, let Diaz and Laporte and Rodri, whoever, do that. Let's just focus on attacking. We had the energy there. I mean, why would we change any of that team around unless there's injuries? And even if there is, let's go out and play the same way. Because if we go and try and then turn it around to Lee's point and change a different way, oh, it's Sheffield United away, maybe we need to play a bit more defensively, that's when we'll come unstuck. Play the same way, Pep. That's how we know how to play the game.
Yeah. Since Guardiola's been with us, our best form of defence is attack. When we attack, we storm games. But I think as soon as we go defensive, that's when we start panicking and start doing these stupid balls that, you know, sometimes as a defender you just got to put your foot through it, ain't you, if it's like that. But I say, whenever we play attacking football, that's when we're at our best. So I don't see what you say why we should change it. I'd keep it fully as it is. Same again.
Yeah.
What did you think, Dan? What's your thoughts on Marseille? Because we were really expecting Marseille to really come at us, and I never really felt worried against this. Was it a poor Marseille performance or a really good City performance?
I think it was both. I'm not taking anything away from City because you could have played anyone that night, and I think you still would have played well. Everything just linked. It clicked. Absolutely everything went right. But at the same time, it's not an argument to that case. City deserved it, the win. They played very well, but Marseille was shocking. I've never seen a team in the Champions League give the ball away so cheaply, look so unsettled on the ball, and just play out from the back so much at the same time. You know, their way of playing was playing out from Mandanda in goal. And every time he seemed to get the ball, he didn't look for a short pass and try and play it out. Probably twice he did that all game. The rest of it, I mean, he had plenty of goal kicks, the amount of chances we had and corners we were given. He just kept lashing it forward, and their attacks weren't going to win it against Laporte and Diaz, especially the form those two were on that night. And even when we had set pieces, as soon as the ball was given back to them and all our players were up the pitch, we obviously had Walker back, which, credit to Guardiola, that tactic of keeping Walker at the back was brilliant because he played fantastic in that role as well.
Brilliant answer. He's my man of the season up to now.
Yeah. But even at that point, they didn't look to play out from the back and do a quick counter-attack. Just smash it forward and hope for the best. There was no play, no tactics behind it. It was just knock it forward and hope for the best. They had that brief spell at the beginning of the second half, but other than that, they gifted everything to City. But again, I can't take anything away from City because that was our best performance since the end of last season.
Yeah. We pressed, which we were doing so well 2 seasons ago. We actually started pressing again for the ball. And to Dan's point, we didn't give Marseille any time on the ball. And the other point was Marseille didn't have a recognised striker playing. Did you know that? They were trying to play. Villas-Boas had set them up the way Guardiola kind of has to at the moment because we don't have a recognised striker. He was basically playing with those wingers and then having his attacking midfielders kind of play as that false nine and go up. So it was everyone said after the game it was a really easy night for Diaz and Laporte because there was no one hanging on their shoulder. To Dan's point, the whole game it was easy for us. I think Zinchenko had a good game as well because it didn't have a great deal to do. I think to Dan's point, it was a bit of both. I think Marseille, we were expecting them to be a lot more. They beat PSG the week before. Like, they're obviously a decent team, but Villas-Boas got that all wrong against them, and that was our best game of the season.
Yeah, we were so comfortable. Diaz and Laporte were so comfortable for the first hour, 70 minutes or so. It was great to see, actually. And What's your thoughts on Zinchenko? Because your automatic thing is, right, we've not conceded a goal there. We play the same back five again with Ederson in there and Diaz, Laporte, Walker and Zinke. What's your thoughts on how he played, Lee?
Yeah, I thought he played all right, actually, to be fair. Yeah, he done a job. Like I say, defensive wise, for the next game, I'd keep it as is. Wouldn't change a thing until one of them gives reason to, be replaced. As harsh as it sounds on the other players, you've got ready to step in. I think until they prove otherwise, I think they should start.
I've got to agree because Laney in particular is always talking about having players in that first 11 who want to play for Manchester City. We know Laney's not a big Garcia fan at all. Zinchenko has had opportunities to leave. He's the captain of Ukraine. He's had opportunities to leave. Didn't want to. He wants to play for Manchester City. He enjoys being there. And if that's half the battle that that you're going to get, it's a bit. He's not at the same level of Zabaleta, but you could tell that he wants to play for that shirt. And he put in a shift. He didn't put a foot wrong. Guardiola gave him a role, and he did it. Is he the best left back in the Premier League? No, but he does a job. He's a little bit more defensive minded than who am I thinking of? Who goes on the left now?
Mendy.
Yeah, so it's working. I would keep him there. He's obviously fit now. He knows how to play a ball because he plays midfield for Ukraine. I would keep him there until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, don't see why not. We need to not underestimate the power of Kevin De Bruyne as well. 58 passes and 47 of them were successful, including 2 assists. I'm just looking at the arrows of his passes now. He's mainly focused on the right wing, sort of right midfield position, and then obviously whip the crosses in and left quite a bit on the left hand side. He's literally all over the pitch at points of this game. And the 2 assists came from the right hand side where he's kind of drifted around, and he's phenomenal, isn't it? Just, do you know what? He is Mr. Bubble Wrap. We just need to keep him secure as much. If we can keep him secure and have a solid defence, we've got a real chance of winning something this year. I really, really feel that strongly about that.
He's just on a different level. I mean, Messi's not having the greatest season. Ronaldo's obviously not seen much of him yet this season. He's just on a different level, and this is the whole thing we've been talking about with De Bruyne as well, and having that different option up front. That it's good to see that Delap might get a game or get some minutes at the weekend, because if he's really operating De Bruyne on that right hand side, and to your point, Tom, of whipping balls into the box, if this isn't working, the pass and trying to get it in the back of the net, well, all you have to do to tell to De Bruyne is, all right, we'll lift it up in the air and see if you can get someone on the end of it with their head. And that's how good he is. And I think that's going to be the perfect foil if our first style of football isn't working at the weekend. Put a big lad on and see if De Bruyne can bang some balls, in another way into the box, and we can get on the end of it.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the Sheffield game now. We're 13th in the league, lads. It's not great watching, is it? At the minute, we need. I think I mentioned on the show the other day. We just need that consistency. We need to start the train rolling now. Start moving forward, and I really hope. And we've had false dawns before this season, but I'm really hoping that Marseille game is a huge catalyst for us to start striving forward, to really start making a charge. Because for me, every team's lost. Every team in the league has lost a game this season. The last time that happened this early in the season, Leicester won the league. Okay, so if we want to win this league, we need to grab it by the scruff of its neck and win this weekend. And we need to start winning.
We say we're 13th. I believe if we win our game in hand, that puts us 2 points behind top. So at the end of the world, in terms of how we've done, because fortunately for us, like you say, Tom, everybody else has had crap start to the season, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think if Liverpool, Chelsea, United, all of them had a stormer of a season, I'd be a bit more worried. But like I say, when our game in hand, we'll be 2 points behind top. So
well, you're looking at Everton at top of the league. They were really doing well, and then they go and lose at the weekend. We're looking at Aston Villa, win, loss, and straight away you think to yourself, do you know what? There's the potential cracks in any kind of title chance for them. So, I mean, we've our last 5 games is win, loss, draw, win, draw, and we just need to get that red loss out of the way now and start the next 4 or 5 games with wins. I know it's going to be easier said than done because we've got Liverpool in a few weeks as well, haven't we, lads? Which is a must-win game for us. But we can do it. We can definitely beat them.
without a doubt, yeah, if we turn up.
So, Dave, what's your thoughts with regards to teams on Saturday then? Who would you would you play straight away, same lineup? I'm assuming no one's injured.
I would not, unless there's any injuries. I would not change a thing, and you know that's the thing, isn't it, with managers, that if they see a really good performance, that's always the strange thing when they run out on a Saturday and they change things around. Like, that's the best we've played. There was loads of energy. Foden and Torres are getting a really good understanding going. We've got arguably the best player in the world right now, De Bruyne, pulling the strings and doing everything. You've got to get Laporte and Diaz playing as much as possible together to get that understanding going. Ederson, knock on wood, just playing out of his skin right now and getting better every game as well. For me, the big thing is Gundogan, and I know he's a Pep favourite. And if Pep can start playing him in his more preferred role of attacking midfielder rather than that Xavi role, as I described the other day, you know, on our group chat, of being more the sitting back a little bit and trying to make the passes, don't do that. Get forward and get your goals and support the attack. Because when he does that, he tends to score and he disrupts what the other team are trying to do. So I'm just hoping for the same formation, the same players, and the same intent at the weekend.
Perfect.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Dan, what's your thoughts of the game, Mal?
Well, I said it, what was it, the previous Thursday or post-match about facing them straight after in a few days' time. I don't see Laporte starting, just basically on the brutalness that's going to come in this game. Sheffield United are probably one of the very few teams, probably out 10 team maximum in the whole football league, that play physical football rather than passing and fluid football. They will put tooth and nail to the opposition. So we're talking about wrapping players up in cotton wool and stuff like that. I think we're going to need to wrap them all up because they're all going to be picked off at one point or another. But at the same time, I'm mightily confident. Sheffield United have not started this season very well at all. And I think that Marseille game was the sort of kick-off. I think that's the start of our season. I said it in a few previous podcasts ago. Every team, like you said, have lost games. Just need a few games to get it under our belt, to find some rhythm, to find some fluidity. And I think that's it. I think we'll come home massive winners against them.
Awesome.
It'll get a very strong opening.
And we'll go for score predictions in a moment. We'll just run through a couple of things on Facebook that people have mentioned. Regards to the Who Am I, Keith Evans has put, did Mark Hughes sign him with Zabaleta? Him and Zabaleta? Oh, that's a tough one. Lee, I can't remember that personally. You're begging to your knowledge there. Robert Lee Hall's gone for 4-1 City win on Saturday. That's the spirit, Robert. Robert Hall's also put any news on Jesus. We're going to do a bit of an injury update in a bit, Robert, so stay tuned for that, my friend. Ashley Bryan, Kyle Walker has had a brilliant game and has had a brilliant game at every game this season. Yeah, honestly, can't knock that. Ashley has been absolutely has been absolutely fantastic. James Taylor, how are we doing, James? Hope you're well, my friend. Evening, lads. I think it will be a hard game. Sheffield are a strong physical team, and I have tipped them for a top 6 finish. I like that. They are physical, aren't they? And I kind of see your point, Dan, about Laporte and risking him. But you can't mollycoddle him that much, can you? If he's 100% fit, he's got to play.
Well, is he 100% fit? That's the question. Obviously, the way. Well, not just that, but the way City are picking up injuries left, right, and centre, you've got to think, are any players really 100% fit? You know, other than the ones that have been in the squad, like Walker and Edison, who have been in constantly. You've got to think now, especially with squad rotation, you can see Guardiola putting Garcia in there. I can fully see Garcia starting at the weekend without a shadow of doubt. I'll put money on it. But I think it'll be Garcia and Diaz, the centre-back partnership. I just don't see Laporte starting. Zinchenko definitely won't start. These players that have just come back from injury, I don't think any of them will start. I think he'll have a massively rotated squad, unfortunately.
Well, Rob Hall said, I would have Bernardo, Torres and Foden up front, Sterling and De Bruyne and Rodri in the middle. I like that. That's a really attacking, it's aggressive team, that, isn't it? Paul Glennon said, Ake on the left if fit. It's a tough one, that, isn't it? Because I'm thinking to myself, if Zinchenko had a good game, it'd be the same to drop him, but Pep's capable of dropping absolutely anybody, isn't he, on his day? Josh Frost, Sheffield haven't been scoring either. If we played how we did against Marseille, we'll win comfortably. It's a fair point, but you can guarantee teams that don't score often will score against City. That's pretty much how it works, isn't it, to that? Jane Shurin, hiya Jane, hope you're well. If we're too cautious, we will become vulnerable. Jack Frost, 3-0. Yeah, I can see that. And Jack Frost, sorry Jack, it's Josh Frost.
Got Christmas on the mind.
Frost! Yeah. I'm sorry, do you know what, mate? I bet he's had the piss taken out of him so much for that as well. I'm so sorry, my friend. That's what happens when you got an 8-year-old boy watching telly with your crikey child. Yeah. Sorry, Josh. How are we doing, pal? Can't see us conceding. I can't see us conceding either. As long as we got Laporte and what's his face, Ruben at the back. I just think we look solid. I think we've got two really comfortable, level-headed Pep-style players that can pass out from the back, that can defend, they can head, they can get rid of clearances. So I'm really confident with you there. Steve Browning, how are we doing, Steve? 2-0 to City on Saturday. Sterling with 2 goals. I very much hope so. Luckily, Josh has seen the funny side of that. Thanks, pal. Sorry, mate.
You know what? We want. I kind of agree with Dan. I hope he's not right, but we do want our units at the back this weekend. And Edison, Laporte, and Diaz, all 6 foot plus. 13, 14 stone. They're our units. That's what we're going to need. Garcia, much as I enjoy watching him as a player, he'd get hammered in a game like that away to Sheffield United, because that's what the tactic will be, is rough up their defenders, and kind of I'm really hoping Pep just sees that, and hopefully there's no injuries, and he thinks, right, we need our units playing against this team, and we beat them at their own game basically.
I can genuinely see us. If we carry on the way we're going, those two are going to be the envy of most Premier League teams. Having those two at the back, for me, and you're right. I don't want to see Garcia playing when we've got those two fit and ready to play. We need those two to play and build that relationship now, don't we?
Yeah,
definitely. That's what we're saying.
Go on,
I was saying earlier about the consistency, and you got to give the players time to gel, ain't you? And like I say, you get them two playing week in, week out of each other. I think they'll be amazing.
Agreed. And now, has Diaz had a game off yet since he signed for us? I don't think he has he?
Don't think so. I can't think where he...
I
think Diaz has played every game for us, correct? Since
I don't remember him not playing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that was after the Leicester game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So just want to also clarify, anybody who wants transfer business, talk to me. I mentioned Ruben Diaz long before we were interested in him.
Oh, here we go. Bloody hell. All right, we signed one player that you mentioned once or twice, and before you know it, you're in the know.
Are we a much better and stronger and more comfortable team with Ruben Diaz in the team? I think so.
All right, Mr. Football Manager. Right, give us your predictions for the Sheffield game. We've got loads to talk about. So, Dave, give us your prediction, my friend.
Do you really want me to do this? Because
gonna go 1-1, innit?
Yeah, if I say that we should win based on Marseille's performance, we're going to be dreadful. So
you can do the same reverse psychology that I do and don't give predictions.
I'm gonna do my reverse psychology and say that Sheffield United really need the points. Manchester City are coming off, a Champions League game. I'm gonna go 2-2. But it's reverse psychology, Dan.
Okay. Lee?
4-0.
Nice. Dan,
4-0
come on.
to City, that is.
6-0.
Oh, that's the Dan we know. That's the
Do you wanna
Dan we
know?
know. I've missed him.
You see, but that's not the normal prediction line that I go for. I honestly think it'll be 6-0 to City tomorrow. Maybe 6-1, but I reckon we'll score a hatful of goals. I think we'll demolish them.
Ashley Bryan's put 5-0 City. Like that, Ashley. Yeah, that's the spirit, lads. Let's go for it. I'm looking
They've
forward to
definitely
this
got
game.
the second season syndrome, haven't they, Sheffield United? They didn't seem to reinforce too well, though they do have Ryan Brewster, who I'm actually really excited to see. And as I said to you, I was kind of wishing that we might put in a cheeky bid for him because I think he's a phenomenal player. I see him playing for Sheffield United for 2 seasons, banging in
Brewster?
50 goals over the next 2 seasons, and then him going for 70, 80 million to us or someone. I guarantee you that's going to happen.
Well, let's
He's a
not
really
forget,
good player.
Brewster won the Under-17s World Cup alongside
Yeah.
Phil Foden. And if you remember, they
Exactly.
both had the photographs taken and they turned the shirts brown. Brewster on one side and Foden on the other. So, I won't bet guess against it, mate. But, you're not Dan, are you? So anything you say about predictions, signing players, it's not going to happen. It's obviously the man that's
No,
in the know.
exactly.
Just want to clarify, we will never sign Brewster.
Oh, right.
Who are we going to sign, Dan? Because
Yeah,
Well,
we-
let's see.
Dan, if you could sign one player in January, who would it be?
Realistic or who I want to sign?
Well, which did you think Rick Diaz was?
Realistic.
Yeah.
Oh, do I need to go back
Realistically-
to the podcast? Do I need to go back to the podcast and double check that?
Well, no, it was a realistic signing, but I'm not going to lie. When he was playing for Benfica, I fell in love with him. I thought as a defender, Jesus Christ. Well, as a man as well, No, if I'm being as a realistic target, I think due to the nature of how our transfer business has been, and we've been needing a striker for a long time, and Aguero was leaving at the end of the season, Haaland is my bet for being signed in a pre-contract or at least some paid deal. I reckon we'll be signing a big striker in January, either signing in January or in the summer transfer window. We will not go another season without signing one.
He is
All this
mine.
rubbish about not having enough money.
Yeah.
All this rubbish about not having enough money, and that Omar Bergen, whatever his name is, coming out and said, "Yeah, we're financially sound." There's something happening behind closed doors, and I think it is Haaland.
Don't forget
No,
when somebody who's in charge of a massive corporation has to come out and say we're financially sound, that's not just that's literally for the club and the football business as an entity. He's not going to come out and say, actually, we're knackered, we've got no money, because shares drop, interest drop. He's playing a clever game there from a business, but you have to see the bigger picture when he comes out and talks. The difference between him saying we've got money.
True, but at the same time,
Go on.
I think there's a lag in my voice coming through here. At the same time, yes, I understand that a lot of businesses do it just to make them sound financially sound, like you say, and all that. But if there was some truth behind what Pep's saying, he wouldn't have come out and said it. There would have been a lot more to it. They're both contradiction each other. I know he's talking about that Omar bloke's talking about the whole City group. If the whole City group's got plenty of money, why can't Man City, the main team?
I think if they're struggling, we're all doomed. To be honest.
This is true, yeah. Lee, I'll put this question to all of you. Who would you sign? You have one signing. You had the checkbook in front of you.
Completely agree with Dan. I go all in for Haaland.
All in for Haaland. I would do exactly the
Was
same
it 63
thing.
million
Exactly the same
release
thing.
clause? Is it 63 million is release clause?
Not sure.
But yeah, I'd bang straight in 90 million. Make the mind up for them.
Dave?
Yeah, well, apparently Is it Micah Richards who thinks we're missing out on a trick by not getting Sturridge back?
Oh, I hope that wasn't Michael Richards that said
on
that.
a
That wasn't
short
Was that
term?
not Michael Ball? Somebody stupid.
I think it was Micah Richards who said it.
No, it wasn't. Was it? It must be his mate.
Well, they are mates because I think they came through the youth setup together
I think
to a degree.
Dave's right. I've seen that it was on BBC Sport, wasn't it, Dave? He was saying City missed the trick by not classing his Sturridge as one of the greatest in the Premier League or something like that. I think, Dave's right. I think Nika did say that he'd had Sturridge.
Didn't he want to leave?
And we could, and he's free. We could get him right now. We wouldn't have to wait till January.
No, I'd rather fucking, excuse my language, Delap every day of the week. I'd rather pay a three-legged donkey than have him play for us again, if I'm brutally honest. There's a reason he's on a free. There's a reason it's free. There's a reason it's free.
Yeah, well, one of the best in the Premier League don't go for free anywhere, do they?
Exactly. He would have a club by now if he was in that.
Is it more likely that should we bid for Haaland, that even if we bid in January, that the deal's agreed, but he doesn't join us until next summer, simply because he'd be Champions League tied anyway. So maybe that might be a good way of getting the deal done. That, look, we'll give you the money for him, we'll give you the 63 million, and you keep him, and then he joins us on June 30th.
Yeah, that'd be a good move. Gives him another.
Go on, Lee.
So that's how it gives him a bit longer as well, just to develop, doesn't it? And then, like you say, then keeps both sides happy. Then, doesn't it? Obviously, the club are happy they get to keep him for the rest of the season. We're happy because we get to sign him. Hopefully, the players are happy too.
I'll tell you one player that we should be linked with. He's just starting his breakthrough and he plays for Real Sociedad, so hopefully David Silva would put in a good word, is Isaac. If you don't know about him, look him up. He's only just started scoring a lot of goals, but he's a very promising striker, big lanky sod and all, and he's only 20 years old. He's built like a brick shit house for a striker as well, so
Isaac,
I'd go in for him. Isaac. I-S-A-K. I-S-A-A-K. That's it, yeah.
Right, I'll post
And you've seen that we've been linked with this Patson Daka today as well, have you?
Belgium he plays in, doesn't he?
He's so he plays for Salzburg. He's from Zambia, and right now he's 22. He's 6'1", which is what I like. He scored 33 goals in 59 appearances for Salzburg, and he's got a 20 million release clause, and apparently City have been watching him very, very closely.
God, this Isaac's 6'4". I'm 6'2". Crikey! Right, okay, yeah. You need a little notepad, Dan's notepad of who we're coming in for. Right, we're gonna have a quick run.
Daniel Malen as well.
Melon. I'm all right, mate.
Malen.
I've had my tea. Here's the injury updates. So we've got Jesus. The last detail was a thigh injury. Still, he cannot train with us. I don't know how long he's going to be. Maybe 1 or 2 weeks. He's predicted to come back on the 21st of the 11th. So he's well out for the next couple of weeks. Mendy, sheet glass. Mendy will be 3 or 4 weeks out. Laporte, we expected sooner. Obviously, this was taken on the 17th of October. I don't know how much, maybe a week or 10 days. So according to this, he's going to be out to the 21st of the 11th as well, same as Jesus. Fernando, 21st of the 11th as well. He's been completely ruled out. The results were more optimistic, so hopefully it'll be shorter than 1 month. That's good for us. Being a tough lad is good. So he's obviously a bit of a fighter when it comes to that, but he's been ruled out for the foreseeable as well. Ake, he's got a 50% chance of playing this weekend, so he's not playing, lads. There's no way he'll risk him. He's got a tight groin, expected to return end of the month, so 31st, Halloween. He's not playing. He'll be given a bit more time to play. Sergio, completely ruled out. There's been no timescales, no return dates. He's currently still being assessed. Pep mentioned the other day, it depends on the injury. When is it a minimum? 10 to 15 days. If it's longer, it'll be 3 weeks to a month. I don't know. So he's none the wiser. So Sergio's out for foreseeable 1 month, 6 weeks maybe. We need a new striker. I want to see the lap coming through, but we need to be brutal about this. Those three that played against Marseille if they're the striking option that does well and starts scoring, they play. If we need goals and they're scoring, they play. I'd like that to come on, but I'd like him to do well, obviously. But if we need goals and those three are scoring, they start ahead of.
I really, really wish we would have gone for Suarez.
I don't disagree with that.
What,
yeah.
3 million to Atletico? Good God.
In our team, Suarez.
Yeah, Dan, he has scored goals for fun at every club he's ever played at. He's one of the best players in Europe, if not the world. Like,
you know,
give him a 2-year contract. I think we missed out on a trick there. I really do.
He'd know where best restaurants were, though, wouldn't he? Always after a bite.
You know, the one
That's
thing
very
is,
true.
he's a great player, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't do it.
No.
I hate the bloke. You know,
Got too early.
he could score 30 a season.
Hate is a strong word. If he scores 20 goals a season, I'll be tucking him in bed.
Oof. Yeah, but he'd eat your arm while you're in bed. That's the only thing.
It's just passion, Lee. It's just passion for the game. That's all it is.
It is, mate. It is.
If he'd done it for City, you'd be loving him. You'd have a poster on your wall.
To be fair, if someone said to me before Tevez come, would you want Tevez at City? But no, God no.
I
But
love Tevez at City.
I loved him when he was at City. So I suppose you're right. Like you say, you learn to love them, don't you? Whoever it is, they come to your club. But
Well, like, you know, the beast, you know, Negredo, he was there one season and he's absolute cult hero. I mean, everyone's chanting beast to him before he even picked a ball in a blue shirt just because of the way he looked, and he was this massive guy who was an animal on the pitch, and we all just loved him. And I think Suarez has got that same kind of quality. I just think we missed out on a trick by not getting him. He's playing well for Atletico Madrid, keeps himself fit. He's got a point to prove because he didn't want to leave Barcelona in the first place. As Tom says, we desperately need a striker, but it's got to be the right one.
Absolutely right.
We need someone who's going to experience, who's going to help us with 15, 20 goals.
Thing is, though, at that point where they say desperately need a striker, when he was available, we weren't. If you think about it, we had Jesus who was fit.
Hey,
Hello, mate.
There's another blue.
Selby.
Hello, pal.
Now then,
You good?
What's your score prediction for Saturday, mate?
5-0. 5-0. Go.
6-1.
It's got all shy now.
Don't believe that.
Yeah. Who's that? Look. Wave.
How are you, buddy?
Wave.
Just for people wondering what's going on, if they were listening to this on the podcast, Lee's son's just come on.
Now attacking me.
That's what I like to
See,
see.
that's
Give
Suarez.
him a dead arm. So we're going to move on now to a bit of news coming out from the presidential frontrunner at Barcelona. Guess what manager he wants to come back if he was to be the next president of Barca?
Yeah, I've seen that already.
Have
They're
a
not
guess,
having him.
Dave, have you seen this?
I have not seen that. What's going on with that?
Basically, the presidential frontrunner has said he wants Messi and Pep to lead the team next season. And going into
Dave
it,
will like that, though.
You what, pal?
Dave will like that, though. You can see Pep leaving at the end of the season.
It's a tough one, that, isn't it? You can understand why the presidential candidate would say it, because Pep's obviously a cult hero with what he's done, what he's brought with it. It'll keep Messi happy because he's Messi's mate, etc., etc. I personally think it's all smoke and mirrors from the presidential candidate. I think then I automatically think to myself, well, hang on a minute, Pep's not signed a new contract yet. What's going on there? Is something else kicking around in the background? I don't know. What do you think, Lee? Do you think there's anything in this?
Hope not. But like you say, when you add things up, like, not spending the money this season, he's not signed a contract. It does make you wonder if something's already in play for the next manager. But I don't know. Like you say, I think anyone who takes over any club's going to say they want the best, don't they? So
Of course they are. What do you think?
when you
Dan?
look at it like that, Yeah.
Well, if Pep leaves at the end of the season, I guarantee he won't be going to another club. I think he'll be having a sabbatical like he did.
I completely agree.
Not just because of the football, but I think he's not really had time since his mum's passed away to really have time to himself. He's come straight back under pressure being a City manager, and some of us fans as well. I think he'd have a big sabbatical, maybe 2 years or something like that before, and then possibly Barcelona, depending.
Well, I'm going to give you a bit of news here. I don't know if you lads have seen that Red Bull Leipzig and their team have been looking to train at City in the last couple of days. Have you seen this, Dave?
I have seen that.
Do we know who Red Bull Leipzig's manager is?
I do indeed.
And do we know who the potential next?
He's going to have to change that suit though if he comes.
Hey, you leave that jacket alone. I've got one of them. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
So just for people wondering, Nagelsmann of Red Bull has been rumoured to have been meeting with the City hierarchy while Red Bull have been at training at City's ground during their come over here. Hey, what's wrong with that jacket? I like that jacket. I've got one of them.
All right, Dad.
I ain't seen this jacket. I have to Google it.
I can honestly see it happening. I really can. I just feel that Pep would have signed another contract by now. You know, I've talked about this before. After everything that happened with Cass, that was the perfect opportunity for City to not only win that, but put out a statement that, right, we've got that out of the way. Pep signed for another 2 years or whatever, and it didn't happen. I honestly think that he wants a new challenge, and whether that's he's going to take a year off again and go and live in New York and learn Italian this time and go and manage Juventus or whatever it is. I really think that Nagelsmann might come in, but I think it could be like a David Silva, a Zabaleta maybe, who come in as assistant, like someone who knows that game, who knows the English game. You know, it was an absolute genius stroke with Mancini having Brian Kidd there, and I don't know if it was his idea or Gary Cook's or whatever, but it was genius having Mancini there as a tactician and Brian Kidd as the let me tell you how the Premiership works. And I can see if we get a young manager like Nagelsmann in, that they'd say, right, you need to bring in a absolute City hero legend here. And company's obviously got Anderlecht thing going on. We're all crying out to see Zabaleta back at City in some way, shape or form, because he's an absolute hero to us. I wouldn't put it beyond the realms of possibility that Nagelsmann comes in and either Zabaleta or even David Silva comes back as assistant.
Oh, I love that.
You heard it here first.
Just show you my jacket. Just to
Look at that.
Wish had some curtains like that once. Go on, Bennett.
Love that jacket. I've still got it upstairs in the loft. Never throwing that away.
And Nagelsmann would obviously bring Angelino back with him as well. Nagelsmann raves about Angelino.
Right, can we just have a little bit of a moment about Angelino? Because
Have him back.
I need somebody to convince me why he's good enough. Because the last game I properly watched him on, he got tore apart by United. So I need someone to really say, Tom, this lad. If he was that good, why is he playing for Red Bull and not Barca, Madrid, etc.? Do you know what I mean? I need someone to convince me why I should like Angelino more than everyone else. And I just don't see it.
That game last night was the first game he's had get poor all season. He scored 4 goals in 5 appearances so far. He's playing.
As a defender, he's not there to score. That's not going to solve our defensive issues. Tell me why, as a defender, I should want him in our team.
Because we've got Mendy as our first choice left back. Go on, win an argument with me saying that.
I don't think he's our first choice left back for a start, Mendy.
I think so. I was at the Burnley game 3 days before the derby, so I had a good watch with Angelino, and he did. I think we won that game 3-0 away. He had a really good game, but kind of to Tom's point, we were very attacking that night because it was Burnley. You know, we had most of the possession, and Angelino was able to get forward a lot. Didn't have a lot of defensive work to do, and that's the problem. 3 days later, when he had a lot more defensive work to do, I think it was James right on the right hand side, Tom, in the derby, and he just absolutely battered him the whole game, and that's the issue.
The Swansea lad, yeah, it was.
Yeah. And he just battered him, and the confidence just must have ebbed out of him after that because he just couldn't he couldn't do anything, and that's when he buggered off on loan again.
If Pep, one of the greatest managers I've ever seen, doesn't want Angelino, does that not tell you he's not good enough?
You know what? I speak as I think like he's got a similar problem to Mendy, hasn't he? Like in the fact that he'll go forward brilliantly, put crosses in, attack, but as soon as we get a counter attack, you know, he's flappy. He doesn't deal with it. I think as a defender, your primary job is obviously to defend, and if you can't do that, then you might as well not bother.
Has Ake ruled out any opportunity for him to come back? Because would he not be a better left defensive option than Angelino? I don't know. I've not seen him enough to play Ake, to be honest with you. I've only seen him like half a dozen games, or whatever it is. So it's hard to judge yet. But Cancelo's better than him. Cancelo's better than Angelino.
Well, that's what I was going to say then. Is Cancelo probably, other than maybe Walker, one of our best defensive players this season so far?
Yeah, Cancelo and Walker.
Since post-lockdown. During the time Angelino was at City, who was the better out of the two? Neither of them, would they?
Out of who, sorry?
Cancelo and Angelino. Okay. During the time that Angelino was at City, Cancelo had a ton of games and he was awful in that period. He ended up becoming probably one of our most sound, versatile defensive players. Give Angelino that time. Give him some game time in this team. He played one game against Burnley, he was brilliant. Next game, he was poor. Every player in that we lost that game. There was a reason we lost that. It's because a team game. Can't base it just on Angelino. Yes, he was poor. Give him a run of fixtures. I guarantee he will turn out to be like a Cancelo, a completely changed player. And we are talking about a player that was, I know, completely different leagues. The defensive player of the Dutch Eredivisie, however you pronounce it, the season prior. He's got it in his locker. He honestly has. If he gets a chance in City and has a few games, we will be looking at one of the best left backs in the world for attacking and defending.
What's the contract details with him again? Has he gone permanently now?
Unfortunately, it's something like this. They have to buy him at the end of the season, and I think it's for something like 10 million. And then if we want him back, there is a set fee of something like 35 million to get him back. It is an awful deal that whoever put it together, probably Tixie, structured
it's
for
not like
us.
Tixie to put a bad deal together, is it?
It really is. So he's not. That's the problem, Dan. Right now, he's not coming back. So they have
That's a waste.
They have a clause that they have to buy him at the end of this season.
My words, we've missed a trick then. That is ridiculous. I didn't know that. I thought he was still just on loan and he was coming back. That is one of the worst deals I think I've ever heard in this City hierarchy. I'm actually quite pissed off about that. I thought he was coming back and I thought he would make a name for himself. We will regret that.
Well, he's still
really
live, but we're going to have to pay for him.
Here's a thought for you. Why aren't we sending Mendy out on loan in January? Because if there's any player from my perspective who needs to get some game time and probably go to France and, in a little bit of a lesser league and, play for Nice or someone like that just for half a season and get some game time, get his fitness ready. I know it would leave us short of left backs, but Mendy needs something. I would have him out on loan in a heartbeat.
He does need that match fitness, doesn't he? He's just so consistently inconsistent with his fitness. It's I feel a bit sorry for him, and that's never good. Guy earns.
I seem to be the only one that's don't rate him. I don't think he ever had it in his locker.
He was good for the 7 games he played before he got injured. He was really good.
I think that was his type. I've never understood what everyone sees in him. Good left back, yeah, but not a 50 million. I wouldn't even mark him over 30 million, even before we signed him. He had one good season at Monaco. Since before that, no one's heard of him.
Here's a good question from Josh Frost, otherwise known as Jack, to his friends. Would you lot trigger the release clause for Douglas Luiz at Villa?
Every day of the week. Fernandinho is 35 or almost. Get him back.
You're starting to see these ex-City players now popping up, making a name for themselves, don't you?
It's happening too much.
Because you've got to think as well the way we play. If Gundogan's not getting any younger either, so we could have Luis in there with Rodri. Luis being the more attack minded player. He's got an eye for goal. He's a good player, Luis. I understand that there was all those problems with contracts and permits and whatever, why we had to sell him to Villa, but it's an absolute snip for what we can get him back for. Like, bring him back.
Right, lads, we're going to start wrapping this up now. But before we go, any clues to who am I?
I know who this is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Dan, I'm going to give you the benefit of the next couple of teams. So, this player started life off at Korizhik, then went to Muskran, then Standard Liège, then Schalke, then back to Standard Liège, then Hamburgers, then Al Rayyan, then joined the Mighty City, where he was with us for 1 year. Then he moved to Plymouth, then to Sion, then to Neftchi Baku, and then to Antrak Ask, and finished his career in 2014. Dan's
I wish you told me the Plymouth one.
Come on, both of you together. Tell me who it is.
Mpenza.
Are you ready, Lee? Mpenza.
Brilliant.
We're supposed to be together.
Before you have the glory, mate.
The Plymouth. If you told me the Plymouth one, I wouldn't look like a right prat trying to guess who it is.
Yeah. Absolute vital goal for City. Mpenza up at Newcastle. Back in the day.
I quite
really good player.
like Mpenza in his celebration when he scored. You're like, oh, come on.
I think we can all agree he's the best Emil in Premier League history.
That's absolutely.
The lad's had 12 teams in his career. Of 20-year career, 12 teams in 20 years.
I've just looked it up for you here. So there's an obligation to buy for 18 million euros, which is about 16 million pounds at the end of this season for Angelino, and then it's double that if we want to buy him back.
Oh, sack Ferran Soriano and Tixi. Sack him. Not just based on that, to be fair. I am getting so... I know I want to end this on a high, but our transfer business is awful.
Positives, please. Let's have some positives going out here. We're going into the weekend.
Yeah, the positive is, Dan, we get 18 million euros at the end of this season.
That's not a positive. Should be double that.
It is if we're as skint as Pep reckons.
We're never going to see
us through the summer.
Right, lads, we're going to wrap this up now. Thank you very much for joining us. Anyone got anything else to add before we leave?
Yes, I hope you don't mind. I like to end all my lives I'm involved in anyway. Just saying mental awareness. Well, yeah, just want to end it on saying if you are suffering with anything out there, we'll continue to say it. Tom, I'm sure you've probably got the Samaritans number next year, or something like that. If you're not feeling up to talking to them or GP, don't hesitate to talk to us on the page, even if it's something about football or just anything random. Don't be ashamed. It's okay not to be okay.
Absolutely. The Samaritans number is 116123. 116123. You don't fancy talking to them, and you just fancy talking to a couple of lads about football, just want a general chat, get in touch with us on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever you want to. There's about 6 of us on here that are more than happy to have a chat with anybody on there. So keep well, everybody. Let's go into this game against Sheffield. 3 points, please, Blues. That'd be very nice.
Come on, City!
Come on, Blue Boys. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll speak to you soon.
Take care.
Cheers, lads. Catch you later.
See you later.